rotary lane.
Yeah.
And that,
Bye.
okay. That's what it is.
go. Hop out the way.
Very goodly. So, the rod broke that held the tines together because it had rusted through. So I didn't have a thread for the end just there, so I used the old thread. I actually used my fire poker, used the old end, and that should now hopefully slide through there to hold it all together again. All these bolts had broken. Someone snapped them all off bar one, so that's the original one. Obviously these are all replacements. That one there, it's not got much thread in it, so if it does work its way out, I'll have to put a nut on the back side, grind one side of a nut and just put a nut on there and rewind it in, because I had to drill that one out. It's the only one with heat and welding me flat washer to it to work it. And you can see that was the one there. It kept breaking the nut off. My technician's here, so that's fixed. This will put the tines back together, and the shed's still in chaos. I've zip tied an air cleaner on it for now because the bolt that goes through the middle of the carby, it's actually stripped inside the carby that holds the air cleaner box on. So that's a job for another day. But yeah, I just wanted to try and get this done back together so as I can play with it a bit tomorrow and actually do a bit more work with it, because we've wanting to put a bit of a veggie patch in. Hugo, you're too smart. Too smart for your own good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what it's for?
Hello, Bob.
You know what it's for? I'm sure you don't. You just think it's something cool to play with. Oh, well, here's the ones I got out. So there's 2 out of the 3. And the other one I drilled out. And then it never stops. Tamara goes, look at that. I'm like, oh, great, my light's sending SOSs. I started welding and then the lights flickered on and off, and obviously that light's got a dodgy starter or something, so screw it. But the fire's going. So I've done it. The thread was a bit long because I've changed the orientation of things. I believe all these flat parts have to sit in there, and I don't think that they were. Maybe they were, I don't know. So yeah, it's together, it's nice and tight, it's full of oil. It will actually be able to go to work again. I just got to put it back on and be all jobs on. And then we can start planting the garden. Oh, make sure that's tight. So yeah. It's a little bit of wear in there. But I think maybe this thing's got to be made in the 60s and 70s and maybe early 80s, so I'll be betting on 70s, early 80s, maybe even. Give that a hit. Does anything come loose? Apparently not. I nearly lost the keyway. There's a half moon keyway in each drive here. They're tighter than they ever were. I think when it rusted out through the middle here. it obviously lost some of its tension because they were flopping around a little bit, I think. We'll be able to tell if looking at the old footage. Oh, I did get it to go up a bit further. Oh, if it ever fails, I can fix it again. But you used to be able to buy brushes for these. So you turn this 90 degrees and you'd put a brush on the end, or you'd take one side off and put a blank on, and you can edge it. What else was there? A different teaser, or whether you used one of these and tipped it up the other way. No, I think it's a different 4-pronged teaser that you could tease with or weed with, and just on one side run the gearbox at 90 degrees instead of horizontally, run it vertically, or run this shaft vertically. So yeah, and you obviously had that at the top, and you put your other attachment at the bottom. That shaft just goes either way, so yeah. That gets mighty hot. It had oil in it, but I've put a bit more in there, and now it's too full, so it'll probably come out this main seal back here, run down the tube, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Back together. Seems to be running around in circles nicely. Oh, I think I accidentally jagged that back in the right direction. Yeah, I would have had to get the sequence right. Well, there you go. I wonder if I can lean this thing out a bit. Did you get that spanner out your mouth? At least you're getting all your iron. I think he's teasing. As long as he stays up there, we'll be right. Alright, original engine. I didn't use it. Well, all of it anyway. The lifters are stuck. The exhaust is stuck. The valves are stuck. The barrel was salvageable with a small brake hone or something, but everything was stuck. It was pointed. So what I did is I used the crankshaft, because this is the one out of the green engine. Different for that little contraption down there. The original tank is knackered. The carb is knackered. Yeah. So what happened a while ago is I bought this other one. And I was going to use this one, but this shaft here is too small. So I decided that I would make one, because when I bought this one, it came with a box full of parts, and there's well, best part of that one, and I think there's still a there's still a crankcase in here. And see, there's a pointless. Where's the Maggie gone? You go through it at me before. Here we go. And there was 2 of these in there. And I thought, well, why not? And there's another cover. And a whole heap of other parts. So I used flywheel off the green one, because the flywheel off of the flywheel that came off of this is this one here, and you can see all the fins are broken. Well, one side of the fins are broken, and I wasn't sure about using it, so yeah. And this was full of water, so I used this crank. I was surprised to know that actually moves. I thought that would have been seized up, because this was full of aluminium oxide white stuff. So yeah, used the camshaft out of this one. So I thought I'd use all the parts out of this one I could salvage out of it. Because there's nothing wrong with the camshaft. I just hit it with a wire wheel. I used the back cover to suit the crankshaft because that one was different. And also that back cover had the gasket. It didn't leave any of the gasket behind on here. So that back cover, that's obviously off the yellow engine. A friend of mine was out when I put this one on, and I had the green one and I had the yellow one. And he goes, I said, yeah, green or yellow? And he goes, you got the yellow on the other side, and you might as well put the yellow on this side here. So I did. I just stuck a bolt in the top of that to keep the dust out, and that's sitting on there nicely, just to keep the dirt out for playing around with it. This linkage is just a piece of wire. Oh, actually no, that's a proper linkage, but it's not 100%, but it'll do for now. I should pull this back off. There's a yellow bolt there, a yellow bolt down the bottom, which is stripped, and they're stripped, but they're poked in there and they're staying in there. And there's a stripped bolt in the back of it, in the back cover. So yeah, and there's no gasket in here, so it does lose a little bit of fuel. But that tank, I'm surprised, is in good nick. I said when I was putting fuel in it for the first time, I said, no, you watch it leak. But it didn't. So I'm happy. And also a bit agricultural. But who cares? It actually it is strong enough. If it breaks, I'll weld it. But that's how we got it. This sat at my old man's place under a tree for years as well. So yeah, I just went for a little dig outside with it, even though it's like 5:45 or something like that. And yeah, oh, there's a yellow muffler on it too. It was off the yellow engine. Oh, and this top plate here was off of the original motor because it's got all rusty, and it had this bracket here which held this handle. The only thing that holds that is it's got a strategic bend there, and that when you pick the height, it sort of locks itself into that nub. And I reckon it might actually meant to be going the other way. Either way, don't know. It works. And that deflector, I hummed and hard about putting that back on, but I thought, oh, why not? It'll be complete then. So yeah, you undo that and swing this 90 degrees and put whatever attachment you want on it and take these off, and that gives you your end. And I wondered whether that was going to leak. So we'll pay to check the oil every time we use it then, just to keep a bit of gunk in it. So yeah, there it is.